So hey guys, welcome to Fink's Corvair Addiction. Well, what am I doing here? Today I'm monkeying around with the exhaust system. I figured I'm just going to make my own dual exhaust. This is a hanger that goes on originally underneath the Rampside, and it goes, they're so thin. They always seem to, everyone I found of these, the FCs are long, they're always cracked and broke because that's a lot of weight way out there. So they kind of mount on your heads, but I want to do dual, and I wanted to make my own brackets originally. I do have some old brackets that I could use to cut, and it's going to be close to around here, I think, where this would have to get a hanger put onto it. I got my U-pipe. I got an adapter, and I couldn't exactly find the right adapters. Out of all the adapters I found for this little cherry bomb I bought off Amazon, bought a couple of them. Couldn't find none exactly 100%, so found what I could, and I'll weld it. Now one of them, the driver's side, I have to be an inch longer because it's staggered about, I think it's an inch, so my pipes end up being the same. I don't know if I want to clamp these. I don't know if that's, if I can't even clamp these here on here. These I bought these off Amazon a while back. About, it works out the right length with this here. I could weld them on there too. I can always cut them off later if I want to play around with them. So like I said, I'm just playing around just to get some exhaust on there. Now I don't know. Everyone says you got, properly. It's got to be off the motor with your mount so it moves with the motor. Now I picked up some of these hangers at the car swap. You can put them whichever way you want. Now I'm like, I don't know, why can't you go with hangers off a different location so it's not mounted onto your engine? I know the engine's supposed to move and all that, but man, it sure seems like a pain in the butt using these. I don't know if anybody, they come off of the head, and that's staggered out a little bit so it's away from your valve cover. And maybe I'll blast these up and see what I can do and cut this stuff off of there and see if I can use something like this. But I gotta figure, it just seems like such a pain to get up in there, tear your stuff apart to get a hanger in there. But anyways, so that's what I'm gonna do here. I think I'm just going to, this one here, I'm gonna cut an inch off of it. I'm gonna slit it so it fits into the Y pipe. If I cut that much off so it fits in the Y pipe, I'm putting them in 3/4 of an inch. I'm just gonna weld them, and that'll give me my difference on there. So I don't know, I'm just playing around to get some sort of an exhaust kind of hanging under there so we can run and try this thing, and go from there. Make something a little better if I have to later, but I prefer to make it how it should be now. But anyways, we'll play around with that. I'll ask Gary about something like this, but I know he's going to say no. So, and I think every Corvair person out there will say no, not to go ahead and mount it off somewhere else. So, and they got these with like the rubber straps, so it kind of would move with your engine too. I don't know. And they're going to be, I think, somewhere about here is where they have to get. I don't know. We'll see how it works out under there. I'm just winging it. All right, let's get these figured out and welded together here. So like I was saying, this stuff here wasn't that expensive. These cherry bomb glass packs, bought them on Amazon. Forget what the length of these are. They're pretty short, 12 inches. Looks like about a 2-inch ID, and it's about 2 3/16 outside diameter on that. And then I picked up these. There's there's so many different sizes out there of this stuff and lengths. And this is the size I thought would work with this pretty close. It's a little bit, just a little bit bigger, not much. So that's what I'm working with. Didn't pay much. And this one here is 16 inches. And that is, oh, what is it? Come on. 2 1/4 ID in there. 2 1/4 ID in there. I said this is 2 3/16 outside, so it's 16th off, 16th bigger. So I guess you could put a clamp on here. I don't know if I want to see an ugly clamp hanging under there. We'll see, maybe, because I do want to be able to adjust my pipes and turn these where I need to. So maybe I'll get some clamps, but I suppose I'd have to split this then on the underside so it would clamp. I don't know. I haven't messed with exhaust ever, and I'll figure it out, you know. All right, so I had ground these clean. These I'm going to tap in 3/4 inch, keep them nice and straight, and put a nice tack it around there real nice and straight, and then put a nice weld around it. These I split, so, and then I actually took a heavy piece of metal, put it in a vise, and I tapped them to bring them in just a little bit so that they would actually fit in there a little better. And I'm going to bring them in 3/4 inch. And if I do that right, they should be 1 inch difference. Very close. I can adjust it with my exhaust tips when I get that far. So I just think I'm very slick today. Thought instead of rolling it on the bench and getting burn marks through here, you know, because you need a ground, or I'd have to put a ground on it and have to deal with it. I put a pipe in the vise. I put my ground on the end of the pipe. I cleaned it up on the top where it'll sit, and it's going to, you know, ground there. And then I can just turn it as I do my tacks and turn it as I do my weld. I got it fairly straight, as far as for my eyeballs. It'll be fine, you know. It's not a perfect truck, but it'll be pretty good, I think. So I'll tack that around and put a nice weld around there. I gotta keep this one with this one because this is I put a D on the driver's side, so this one has to be the short one. And so I don't mix these things up and get them backwards. So the reason that is too, is I want to keep this one on there, is my studs off my motor are just a little off and they weren't replaced. I would have liked to have pulled them out and replaced them, but they never got done. So they're tipped out just a hair bit, so I took my file and just had to file these two a little bit because I don't want to try to bang them things and break them off, you know. Next one I do, I'll pull the studs out. I did buy some studs, so I could always blast up another set of logs. I got piles of them, and pull some studs out, get some new ones in. I think I bought stainless steel studs that go in there. So, but for now, I think this will work. So I took a block of wood and a hammer and I tapped it up. It's just, there's my blue line there, so it is 3/4 plus on there. And you know, the weld's nothing special. Yeah. Now we'll weld that up. Is this the right way to do it? That's the way I'm doing it. I can cut it apart, change it, play around with it all I want. So that's what I'm doing. I don't know. Let's get that welded. All right, I got this one welded. Is it nice, beautiful welds? No. I did take and, because this one I welded, it's kind of crappy welding it because it still had to galvanize on there. I did flapper a little bit of that off of the pipe. And why is it not a nice, beautiful weld? I didn't want to sit there and put a nice bead around it because I think it's just going to blow holes through it because it's not that thick. I don't know. Maybe I'll try in the next one. I could go over it with a nice weld on there. For now, it might get chopped off, so I don't want to get too crazy with it. Maybe I'll play with the next one, see if I can put a nice weld around it. If I had a TIG, and if I knew how to TIG, I haven't never played with TIG. That would be fun. I love doing that kind of stuff. So anyways, it's welded all the way around. It's never gonna leak, I don't think. It ain't gonna break. And should work. Now let's go weld up the other one and kind of hang them on here, just take a look and figure out the hanging to make the brackets or something to hang these things. Well, this one I just went for it. I put a nice weld all the way around it, nice and heavy. Turned out way better than the other one. So I'll just try to do that on this one, not blow a hole through it. We'll get that side done. I got it all into my mark, and this one's an inch longer than the other one. This is for the passenger side. Down there. And we'll weld her around. Tack, 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 and weld. Pooey! Phew! Phew, right in my face. That's nice compared to my other junk I put on the other one. Phew. Phew. All right, I liked the second one so much. I went ahead and I cleaned up my welds off of there with a flapper and re-welded it. It's not as nice as that one, but it's better. And I know if you use a grinder on a weld, you're not a welder. You're a grinder. But that's just what I wanted to do. I wanted to make it a little more. Nothing's ever gonna happen there. Now, is this the correct way to do it? I don't know. This is just how I'm doing it. I'm just playing around, having fun, and trying to make some exhaust. So we'll let this cool. I'll turn the fan on, and we'll go stick these on. Kind of take a look at that. What? Are you telling me why stuff is off?
Yeah.
What is off?
These pipes are not in there. This one's wider.
No.
This one.
The Y pipes are the same.
I'm telling you, but where it's placed.
Where what is placed?
This. Why does this one have 2 holes here and 1 hole here? Why?
Why does what have 1 hole here?
This has 2 here, and this one has 1 here.
Don't ask me, because that's the way it's made. It's
But
fun.
it's already off.
It's funny how the boss is telling me why my pipes are off.
But this right here is much wider than this side.
Oh, okay. All right, well, let's do a measurement there. My conundrum is why do when I put my exhaust pipes on, it is to the driver's side, and it's off 3 inches. So what I did is I put a square on each side of the vehicle, and I measured in from there. Well, it's not even touching. It's off a hair. But I measured in each way, and it's off like about 3 inches to this way. The motor is like slid. Is that common? I measured from the outside to where my valve cover attaches on each side. I'm about 3 inches. So, and I was going to call Gary and say, you know, how things are made. The motors are off to one side just a little bit. So the boss here thinks it's something else. Okay.
Is not as wide as this area.
Where?
This area.
Just because
wider.
This one has 2 holes in there.
I know, but this one's wider to here.
Measure from the same spot.
Well, this is different than
Measure
this
from the same
side,
spot.
but it's different.
Where are you measuring? The boss is showing me where things is different. Do you know how to read a ruler?
It's not even the same.
You're bending a ruler.
I know.
Don't need to lower the lift for you. Oh yeah. I know. I could cut my pipe and make it shorter and bring it that way. I have no problem doing that too.
But this isn't the same.
Yeah, something's probably not the same. I don't know. Okay, the only thing I can figure out, I didn't get to hold Gary. I was going to call Gary, is take that U-pipe and cut 1.5 inches out of it to bring this pipe this way 1.5 inches. Because this, when I measure from the outside to the outside of this vehicle, I measure it in to where the valve cover attaches to the head. It's this way 3 inches, and around 3 inches. So these pipes are both, you know, this one here is pretty much right underneath the hole, and if I split the difference 1.5 inches, it would pretty much make this one come out, and they look symmetrical here. That's what I want. I want the tailpipes to come out the back in the same spot and not be one that way. So I think, I don't know, I guess that's what I have to do. Cut the U-pipe, take 1.5 inches out, shrink it up. So I don't know. Just trying to figure it out. And Jill's trying to tell me here what's all not symmetrical. It's not going to be symmetrical if I do that, but it ain't going to matter. It's just a U-pipe under there. I would want the exhaust pipes to be in the same spots out the back, the rear. So that's what I'm going to do after I talk to Gary. And then I have to figure out how to do a hanger here somehow. And I don't know. That hanger off the head is kind of crazy, but we'll see what I can do. All right, guys. Yeah, Jill was out here. She came out here when I was under here measuring, trying to figure out things, why things weren't straight. I didn't, you know, from looking on the motor from the top, you never would kind of think that the motor is offset. And then now when you actually do look at how the motor mount is, it's here. So the motor is off that way. So throws everything that way. So Jill kind of came out here, measured up things and told me what was all incorrect, but it was all cool, you know. So what I am going to end up doing is I had bolted this one on. I got them all lined up how I think they should be, close enough, and I'm going to cut 1 3/4 of an inch out of this neck and bring it over. It's still going to be plenty far away from the valve cover. I thought another thing that is I could add onto that one and bring it out 1 3/4. That's another possibility too. What should I do? I might think of that too. I'll see if I got some pipe to, maybe I'll cut and add, you know. Farther away might always be better. And I did talk to Gary later, and he said, yeah, you know, the motors are, yeah, they're off. They're not center. And then I was kind of like trying to figure, I had Gary come over Sunday, and we did a little work on a few things. And he told me to go ahead and make a mount from here. It comes across, and you catch your head bolt up here and your head bolt over here and come out. I don't know. We'll see. I still think it probably would be better up on top than this weird thing going across underneath. It's just, it's very hard to get up under there. So I might blast the pieces I have. Well, I have one. I don't know if I have another one for there, but and see if I can get it, apart and in there. I'd rather have it up there if I could. So we'll see, you know. Anyways, I'm gonna put this one back on. I'm gonna see if I got some pipe first, and then see, maybe I'll add onto that one, because right now we're probably 5 inches away. I don't know. I'm gonna put this one back on, do some measuring again, and go from there. All right, so this is where I'm gonna cut on each side of the inside of the blue line. That's 1 3/4. And I'm just gonna pop that together and weld it and call it a day. I'll clean up this, I'll figure out my tips and get it all lined up and straight and weld my tips on. One tip's gonna be up here, one's gonna be back here to get it lined up in the back, I guess, even though I did add more to the one end and less on the other. I don't know. Somehow it's still off a bit. All right, so I got her tacked up there, and I'm just seeing how she's gonna fit. So and they line up pretty decent out the back. So, you know, I'm closer to that there, but I think it's fine. I want them, you know, so they're sticking out the back of the truck in the same spots. So I'm gonna go ahead and weld that U-pipe up, and then that'll be done. And then I have to figure out some hanger deals on there. Yay. All right, I'm back under the exhaust again here today working. And I remembered I have a rear grill. This is one, I think this was from my custom one. Or maybe I picked this up at the fan belt toss. I can't remember. There was one, it was missing on this one. So I had bolted it up in there because I'm like, oh dang, I gotta bring these down a little bit. Not a problem. What I did then is I made a bracket to clamp on here to hold it. I put some rubber up on the top to not, you know, just to protect the pipe there. And so I got that clamp there, and I'll put one on the opposite side over here. And I'm gonna measure these things out and get them to, I don't know, I'm just gonna leave a little gap in there. Now, let me show you this little problem. Not really a problem, it's just, here, I'll show you. So this is the plate that needs to actually be up there to be a proper hanger for an exhaust, which I was gonna build these and I didn't get around to it. You'd have to put that in there so it bumps away from your gasket area here and stuff like that. That's what the slot, I believe, is for in there, because and then it bumps out. So I designed them on a computer. I cut them out. They're off a little bit. Well, that's why we just kind of designed them. I cut them out of cardboard and checked. But to get that one up on the top in there is pretty much impossible unless you got to rip a bunch of your tins out. And I just don't feel like doing that right now. I did watch a few videos to see if there's another way of doing it and people doing it. I mean, this would be incorrect, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do this for now. I got these hangers, which they go, you know, it would go this way and this way for movement. And I'm gonna go ahead and put that up there. And it was hard to see. And I'm going to weld off probably a bolt in a bigger area up there, basically like somebody did before, and I cut it off and cleaned it up. So this is definitely not the correct way to hang a exhaust on a Corvair. It's supposed to be mounted to the motor so it swings with the motor. But I'm just putting this on temporarily so I can get it just going down the road. I watched some YouTube videos, and somebody else had tried to go off their bolts and they were stripped, so they couldn't do that. One person would try to go off with a bracket just off the bottom. That doesn't work going up, and it just come back down, you know. So I am going to try this for now. I'm gonna mount this here. These swing this, they swing this way, and they'll swing this way a little bit. What I'll do is when we get the thing running, I'll take a look at it and see how much movement there is on this, you know. And like I says, it's supposed to have these brackets in there, and that's what I definitely want to make at some point. Just not now. I just want to get her going down the road, you know, at least a little bit. And then I can go back and address this problem, you know. And like I said, I watched some YouTube videos, and some people hung them that way. Another guy did a YouTube video where he made brackets, made the whole exhaust custom, and did a real nice job on all this stuff. And he rolled the centers out, and beautiful work he did actually on it. And so that's what I'm doing just to get her going. So it is what it is, you know. I know it's not correct. I'm not saying to do it this way. I'm sure this one actually, when I got it, did have a one long bolt on one side all the way up through the tins, and it did have a threaded rod on the other side all the way up through the tins, and they did weld something on the side like they were trying to do something, but you know, incorrect. But I'm gonna make it look nice, and that's just the way I'm doing it for now, temporarily. Don't ream me out, you know. I'm not suggesting anybody do this. Will it hurt it? I heard it tends to maybe ruin your exhaust donut gaskets back here if it's not if it's moving. So we'll see. You know, we'll see. It's all right. I did kind of a stupid mistake. What I had to chop these off, both of them off, and re-weld them because the longer one is supposed to have the short pipe, and the shorter one needs the long pipe. And when I had them on there, I'm like, you know, I had marked driver. That's right, driver's the short one, but somehow I mixed them up. So luckily for me, I'm very fast at welding and chopping, so I was thinking, where am I gonna chop this thing and figure out how I got it all. So I just chopped it right there. It's the same spot. And flipped the ends. It's hot, it's hot, it's hot, it's hot, it's hot. Yeah, it's hot. Flipped the ends, and you know, I put it on here, I cut them, cleaned them, wheeled them a little bit, tacked it on here, and just spun it, welded it, and it went really fast. You know, it's going to take me longer for it to cool than it took me to do this. It probably took me 20 minutes to chop them off, clean them, and weld them up at the most. I'm very fast at that kind of stuff, but just something stupid. It just kind of slipped by, and you know, Gary says, post the mistakes and stuff. You know why? You know, I made a mistake. You know, it happens. It's not even Monday. What is it? It's Wednesday. So I should be good for another week, right? So we'll let this cool off. We'll turn the fan on and get these cooled off and try to get them on there. And yeah, try to get them on there and set up. Because when I put those little stands I made on there and clamped them, the same spot, I was like, man, one is way off. And I'm like, how is that? So, you know, and I'm thinking, I had to do something, you know, it happens. Oh, well. Anyways, we'll let these cool off, and we'll try to get these mounted with the incorrect hangers. This is how the hangers actually came. And what I did on the other one is I took and I ground that off and pulled this off because I don't need all that on there. And I'm just going to weld it there and cool it off so the rubbers will get hot. But these do go this way, back and forth, and it's got flex this way. They did have ones that were just all rubber too. So what I did yesterday is I went down the road, AutoZone's a couple blocks down on our street, and they had two, they're just rubber with a little end on it. And I thought, well, that's pretty good because then you get a lot of movement. And then I seen the place is brand new and it's always they don't stock their crap there. And I hate going there, but it's convenient. So they were out of like most of the hangers that they had, and I seen one said the swivel, and I did watch this on one of the videos that how somebody did use these on theirs to mount it, basically kind of like I'm doing. I thought, yeah, swivel one's good. So but they were out of them, so I'm like, all right, Jackson and I will take a ride over to O'Reilly's. It's, you know, a mile down the road or so, a mile and a half, and went there. And they didn't even have these. So I figured, well, I'll just get the, you know, see what they have. And they had only one rubber one, but it was a different brand. So I'm like, okay, piss on it. I'll just go back to O'Reilly's and I'll just buy the two rubber ones and just call it a day. So I go there and I grab the first rubber box with the rubber one off the shelf. I grab the second one, it's empty. There's nothing in it. So I'm like, Jesus, you know, oh, can I help you? Well, get something on the shelf, you know. Oh, well, we can get it for you in, you know, a couple hours or something. I'm like, nah, I want it now. So so what I did is I just ordered these on Amazon. Yesterday, Jill ordered them for me. I put them in a cart, messaged her while she was at work. I said, can you order these? And that was about 2 o'clock, 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and they were dropped off at like 5:30 this morning. So I'm just Amazon on it from now on. It's usually cheaper, quicker, and I don't have to drive around and waste time. So anyways, done yapping. Let's get to working. So hey guys, I am trying to get this thing so perfect and straight because I'm so crazy about having things just right. Yeah, I had put a rubber plug from the motor in there to raise it up a little bit because I wanted it raised up a little bit. And I came out, how I figured that is, I took a square, I kept it flat in here with my bumper. I marked exactly where I want it for my distance out. I took a screwdriver, an old one, I heated it, bent it, and that allowed me to put it in the back of here. I had a little piece of wood shim in there, and I thought, well, if I weld it, how am I gonna get that out of there, you know? And so this I can use, I can move it around, and it kind of held it straight, my pipe. And I just kind of turned it and eyeballed it. I put 5 tacks around on there, so it's good. It's good. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. So I'll pull this one off and I can weld it up, and I'll go do that one over there. I gotta pull that one off. I got it marked. Well, I'll recheck it with this because I ended up bringing this one out a little bit more. So I'll recheck it with this, mark my line on the cherry bomb, and pull that one off and remove all the paint from my welding out because it's just going to burn off in there anyways, and get that one tacked up, I guess. Yay! Taking a little longer than I thought, but I don't know. I'll just try to get the things looking so straight, and I'll get it down and stand behind it like, it's a little crooked. And I'll have to cut it off and do it again. Nah, it's fine. It's fine. All right, guys. I got them both tacked up there. I'm more happy with this one than this one. I got it pretty good. And I think my distance is about right. This one I think might be off a little bit that way, a smidget. It is what it is. It's not a perfect truck. I'm gonna call it a day today and come out here fresh tomorrow. And I think first thing I do is these improper hangers locations. That one's going to be a hard bugger to get because the motor's a lot closer to that side than this side, but I'll get it welded up in there. I'll just put some leather around the valve cover. Ow, it's hot. It just burnt me. All right, we'll see you in the morning. That's right, guys. I've been out here most of the whole day working on finishing up my custom dual exhaust. It's been a very exhausting day. Exhaust. Anyways, I'm too tired, I guess. Yeah, I had went with those straps and just welded bolts on there. I know it's not the correct way. I will go back and change it. But for me, instead of tearing out my tins and tearing up, a bunch of it apart and spending and take me probably most of a week to build brackets and do that. I am just throwing that on there for now. I heard that, you're not supposed to use those. They're supposed to be mounted to the heads and it moves with the motor. These do have I don't want to touch it too much because I just painted this stuff. It's got it moves this way. These things will swing this way, and with the rubber, it's a little heavy, but it will move that way. So I had to put them in 2 different locations. This one here on the driver's side, I did the passenger side first, and I welded a bolt up in there real nice. And there was on there before when I first got it, and on the one side, maybe both sides, I don't remember. But so I did the passenger side, welded a bolt, got it all adjusted and where I wanted it, welded it, and I had this one all cleaned up for where I was gonna mount it, right over here actually, and cleaned up, ready to weld. I welded the bolt in there, and after I got the bolt welded in there, before I put this on, I'm like, there's not enough room to take off my valve covers. Reason being because I put studs in my valve cover, so I have to pull the whole valve cover all the way off. And you need, I think, 2 inches to come out, and I got about 2 1/4 or something on the driver's side without a bolt hanging in the way. So it was very tight as it was up under there welding because it's yay far away from the valve cover. So I had to cover everything with leather. I got it all welded. I'm like, all right. Yeah, I had to go back in there. I had to sawzall it off real nice. I die grinded it and tried. I couldn't get a flapper in there. I couldn't get stuff in there. I need to get one of them. I don't know if they have them electric, but I know they have the air little belt sanders, the little long ones. I'm gonna look into getting like an electric one or something. I don't know if they have them, but look into that because I have a use for getting in places like that. So I got these done. I'm gonna just quick bolt them on and show you what I did. And you know, I know you won't approve of this, but just how I'm doing it for now. All right, so this is what I did. I just welded, I cleaned up the head of a bolt and I welded it on there real nice. And something for I can change later. There was one welded up here before. I think it was right there. And I welded it all in and fixed it all. So I can do that again later. This is the passenger side. Here is the driver's side. I had it mounted. Originally I had it up here. And you can see I didn't clean it 100%. I got it cleaned pretty good. I just don't have the right tool to reach up in there. And that is, you know, there's only about 30 inches between here. So with a stud hanging out, there's no way I'm gonna pull my valve covers off with having studs in here. So I made myself at least an hour plus worth of work in there or more, having to weld it and cut it off. So I got it in there and I just put some washers for spacers. I could have put bolt on nut or whatever, but that's the driver's side one right there. And I had welded all this up originally anyways because there was nothing left of this whole area. So not a perfect truck, never gonna be. All right, guys, so there is my dual exhaust. They're pretty close to being right on the backs. And my heights are the exact same. They're kind of easy to adjust because, you know, you turn the top nut or the bottom nut or side nut. Matter of fact, Gary told me I have two different exhaust manifolds. One's from early, one's from a later. That's why this one goes up and down, and that one goes sideways. And, you know, I wish he would have told me that. I said, now I got to change it. He goes, it doesn't matter, but to me it does. So I'll find another exhaust log that matches it. You know, does it matter? No, bothers me. So, yeah, I got them on. I'm happy. At least, you know, I don't know that we'll see how the donuts do back there and how it moves with the engine. I'll have, when we get it going, I'll fire it up and, you know, have someone rev it up and I'll look to see how it, you know, how these move along with the motor, if they do at all. They are kind of stiff, those rubbers are in there. They did have ones that had really long rubbers, but I don't know if that's good neither. So anyways, oh, and then, yeah, I did just paint them all the really high heat black. I did have them taped off. Well, this one here I did. This was the first one, and I said it looks stupid. So I did the hanger silver, and then I painted around here silver where I welded. And then the pack was red, but it was kind of, you know, silver up a little bit from the weld. Red, and then it was silver. It looked kind of like a clown car, you know. I mean, it looked kind of cool, red, but I don't want it all standing out. So I sanded them down a little bit, hand sanded them down. And unfortunately, this one here, I did paint all silver. So there's silver under there and black. So we'll see if we get rock chips, what it turns into. But anyways, I don't know. Maybe it'll all burn off or flake off anyways, but that's the pipes. So anyways, that's it. They're pretty good. I would have definitely rather put straps on here and tighten them down. Gary said just weld them. But to get everything to be perfectly straight, they're pretty darn good. Yeah, they're pretty good. This one may be just a tweak off. It's pretty good. Not too bad. Yeah, and like I said, Gary said weld them, and that made it a lot harder. If I just use a clamp, I mean, you see a clamp though, maybe not, flip it the other way, wouldn't have been so bad, because then you can move them, adjust them, and do all of that, and just clamp them. Everything should be right on. Right on. within. Yeah, pretty good. Not too bad. One's not sticking out like an inch longer than the other one. So anyways, and I'm glad I did remember to put this on, because otherwise I would have had them things snugged up farther. So, and I left, there's probably a good inch plus a gap in here. So anyways, that's it. I know I should have went off the heads, but down the road I will, when I got more time to build brackets from scratch. I don't have the plasma cutter. That's just like, it's a weak job, you know, and I'll figure it out and get it done correctly. But I want to see how this holds up for right now. And I did watch some YouTube videos, and people did just bolt them up because their back bolts were stripped on their heads and stuff like that, and ran into problems. And this one, actually, when I got it, they did have threaded rod on one side and a bolt on the other, but it was through the tins on top, very hokey, and nothing was very stable at all, or nothing, you know. Like, these got some movement to them, you know, so a little bit of movement with the rubber. I don't know, that's how I did it. So we'll see how it holds up. Please subscribe to our channel. That would be awesome. We need some more subscribers. We're almost at 500, and we have like 160 videos out there. Come on, Corvair guys, pass the word. Let's get some more subscribers. That would help me out a lot. Not like I'm getting anything out of it, but helping, hopefully helping somebody out there on something, or getting a kick out of what I'm doing. I'm just learning as I'm going and doing stupid things like welding studs up in the wrong spot, even though, you know, it's not the correct way, but you know, got to try to think ahead what's gonna affect. So yeah, put your comments below. Please don't ream me out about the way I did it. I do like welding and fabricating stuff, so like I got some Harley pipes, I'd like to play around with that and stuff like that, and just even play around with that stuff. So it's fun for me to cut something and weld it. It's really fast. So yeah, I guess I'll be back out here tomorrow, and working on another video. So I guess hopefully we'll see you in the next video, and thanks for watching. Thanks, Corvair Addiction.